Alright, so this is going to be Bruno's update video and your instructional video for how you should be practicing with Bruno at home. The first behavior that we've worked on, and we're going to kind of fast forward through all the things he's learned this week during these videos. But the first thing he learned is heel. So he actually had a really good heel coming in. You've done a great job with him so far. We're just really reinforcing this heel picture of him being on your side and walking politely with you. As far as what we're using, as you can see, I have a treat pouch, I have a 6-foot biothane leash, and he is wearing a 3mm prong collar, and we did add on the remote collar as well. We're going to kind of talk through everything that I'm kind of doing in the video here. So as you'll see, every time he's doing a really good job, walking politely next to me, paying attention, I say the word good. That is his positive marker, meaning he's doing a good job, and it means he's about to get some food. And then after I say the word good, I give him a handful of his food. I am using the raw food that you provided, so it's a little bit gross, but I do want you to continue this while you're at home. If you need to bring home some latex gloves, I can definitely give you some to use at home. But I do want him working for every bit of food he eats over the weekend. So when you're walking with him, heel just means be next to me. For him, right now when we come to a halt, he is going to sit. We want him to sit on the verbal cue, but we also want him to start to sit automatically. So right here we come to a halt. He is not sitting, but when I give him that verbal cue to sit, he goes into a nice sit, which you've practiced quite a bit at home. We're going to start to make this much more automatic. And when I say heel, I want him to understand, I want him to come to my side. So he doesn't fully understand that yet. So we're using the leash a little bit in guiding. He's definitely not a soft dog. So you can see that we use a fair amount of leash pressure with him. He doesn't really get too upset over it. He really doesn't get his feelings hurt. But it helps kind of guide him as to where we want him to be. And so we want him basically sitting with his front feet lined up with the side of your foot. You can pick and choose really exactly how far ahead or behind you want him. I usually aim for about middle of the foot. Now, I don't really like the fact that he's sitting crooked, but for right now, we're just trying to improve him sitting when we come to a halt. So just the fact that he sits, we're still going to reward that. We'll fix positioning and things like that later. So, before we take our step forward, we're going to say the word heel, and then we're going to step forward with the left foot. That means we want him to go with us. Later, we will teach him a stay. We're not going to use the word stay, but we'll teach him to stay seated. When we do that, we're going to use our right foot. So it is important to practice this weekend using your left foot when you want him to walk with you. I also try to stop on the left foot to help indicate where I want him to sit when we stop. That's again another kind of advanced technique. So as you can see here, every time I take a step forward, I'm always stepping forward with my left foot. This is to indicate to him that I do want him to go forward with me. Now I am trying to clean up a little bit of his positioning, but he's doing a pretty good job adjusting. I just want him to know when we're stopped, I want you to sit. So now we're going to get a little bit into a sit-stay. When we want the dog to sit-stay, we don't use the word stay, we just say sit. And again, when we want our dog to stay seated, we're going to start to use our right foot. So here is how I started to introduce the sit-stay. He already kind of knew a little bit of a stay command. So I did want to make sure he understands when I say sit, you stay seated until I tell you to do something else. So how we started this is we take that right foot, we step in front of him, we turn, we face him before we start to back away from him. This is just a little bit of an extra cue, meaning I want him to stay seated when I start to move away. And again, if I want him to come with me, that's when we're going to use that left foot. So as you can see here, when I use that right foot, it means I want him to stay there. I'm also reiterating that sit command before I walk away. So anytime you're about to walk forward, you're going to let your dog know before you start moving what you want him to do. So if I want him to stay seated, I'm going to say sit. I'm going to take that right foot. I'm going to turn and face him. If I want him to walk with me, I'm going to say heel, and I'm going to use that left foot and start walking forward. Okay? So we have also introduced the place command. He struggled a little bit with the place command only because I think for the size of him, the place bed is a little bit small. I just don't have any larger ones that would support his weight. But he's figuring it out. The hardest thing for dogs of his size is the fact that they honestly do not understand that they have back feet. So a lot of times he thinks he's on the bed, but his back foot, one or both of them, are actually hanging off. So when we're doing the place training, we are always reinforcing our heel position, which is the left side of our body. So anytime our dog is on the place bed, we're going to continue to show the dog our left side. So as you can see, we walk towards the bed with our dog on our left side, and then once the dog is on the bed, we're going to stand on the right side of the bed so the dog is still on the left side in that heel position. So as you can see here, our training assistant is making her way over into that heel position still, the whole time showing Bruno the left side of her body. And again, the same thing applies here. When we want him to come off with us, we tell him what we want him to do, then we step. And again, when we want him to go with us, we step with our left foot. We will use the exact same method of encouraging him to stay on the bed using our right foot as we did with the sit stay. But we're going to start with just repetitions of getting on and off the bed and just watching those back legs. Like I said, he occasionally tries to hang one off, but he's able to fix himself. Throughout this session, you'll see he becomes a lot more aware of his back legs and being more consistent about getting them all on. And then again, when we want him to come off, it's either free or heel and then step with our left foot. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to start to establish our place stay. You'll see our training assistant actually does make a mistake the first time because she uses the wrong foot. So she does her left foot when she's supposed to use her right. So she's going to do it again with her right foot. And what we do is we always start with just these small incremental steps ahead of the place bed, and this will soon and quickly become us actually walking away from the bed. But we want to create a clear initial picture of us moving and the dog staying on the bed and always being successful. So we always want to start really simply and really small and then incrementally make it more and more challenging. One of the important things to remember is that before we start to move, whether we want the dog to come with us or if we want the dog to stay where we are, we want to make sure we're giving our dog a neutral body position, and then we give them a verbal cue only of what we want them to do. So before we take a step, either with our left foot or our right foot, we're going to either tell them heel, meaning we want them to come with us, or free, meaning they want to come off the bed with us, and then we're going to step with our left foot. Or here, like you're seeing, we say place, and then we step with our right foot in front of the bed and face the dog, meaning we want them to stay there. But either way, we give them a really neutral body position, we say the command, and then we take a clear step. This gives the dog very clear information of what we want them to do when we do move.
Place. Nice. Good. There. Do it one more time. Place. Wrong foot. Go back again. Place. Good.
Hopefully this has been helpful. We will go over these terms when you pick up Bruno tomorrow, Friday, for your go-home lesson. If you have any questions over the weekend, don't hesitate to give me a call. I might be a little bit busy, but you can also shoot me a text message or write me an email, and I can give you a more thorough response or even create a video like this to help answer any questions and clear things up if you need it.